What's up, everybody? It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
Man, oh man. It was the final that I kind of had a feeling might happen. Just because we talked about it even in the spring. Like, we had a lot of good finals in this calendar year, and the law of averages was going to catch up to us.
A little bit of a... I mean, I don't want to take anything away from South Africa because they had themselves a hell of a tournament.
Right.
And, you know, all the smart people before the tournament started picked them. But
Before
that final was not a good representation of rugby.
No.
You want a much better like pace of play, style of play.
Yeah.
Show the game, not a bunch of kicks.
No, I know. I mean, it was a little indicative of just how, I mean, basically this, depending on how the first 10 minutes went, was basically who was going to win, because if this was wide open, then it was probably going to be England's game, or more open, I should say. Mm-hmm. If it was a lot of set piece and a lot of penalties.
Wait, whoa. Time out.
Whoa.
I do not have a beer.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Stop the pod.
Yeah, stop the pod. Yeah. No, I think we were... we jumped into the final before we meant to, and, you know, it is what it is, because we do have some news and notes that we want to get to.
Yeah.
Before I forget this, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iTunes. Rate us, review us, send us an email to give us your thoughts on the pod and all that good stuff.
I would like to, while we're here, thank the Rugby Magazine for their fantastic upgrades they've given us.
Yes.
Holy shit, they're so helpful. Yeah. Not having to check Twitter. I had my day off on Friday, waiting the games, and it was so nice not to have to go into Twitter and
dig that out.
Dig it up. Who's starting for Leicester? Who's starting for Bristol? Who's starting for... No, I don't need to look up the things and then transpose them and all that other shit. So thanks, right. TRM. You guys are great.
Yeah, thanks.
Get their upgrades.
Yeah, definitely get their upgrades. So we'll everybody just forget the first 5 minutes of Ben and I talking because we got into that and couldn't help ourselves. But there is news and notes, and it just so happens we happen to have tabled our pod for today. Well, a big bit of news dropped today. Saracens are being docked 35 points and $5 million or something.
Yeah, but who
like
gives
that.
a shit about the money?
Yeah,
that's their money. That's them to deal with.
He's not. I don't think he's worried about that. So I haven't read enough to sit here and give you an unbiased opinion. My opinion is going to be biased, and it's going to be biased if you're listening to this pod for the first time. Ben and I are Saracen supporters. I've been a Saracen supporter since I knew what European rugby was. Ben hopped on the bandwagon a few years ago with me. Basically, I more or less, you know, Jedi mind tricked him into joining the Saracens. So, you know, I as looking at it objectively as possible, I can't do that at the moment because I haven't read enough on it. Mm-hmm. But I can give you my opinion, and the opinion is I think the sanction, just on the sanction themselves, super heavy-handed. Like as I think Nigel Ray is the one that put it that way. They are very heavy-handed. 35 points. That's my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, I know that's probably the point. They're trying to relegate the Saracens. You know, it's what it comes down to in my book, at least.
Yeah, that's what it clearly seems like that, which is a bad look, in my opinion, to go right to attempted relegation. It's bad for the sport too. So I can only assume that it'll get altered. It to me it would make sense if you wanted to give them a some sort of docking over the 2 years. Say, look, instead of 35 1 year, give them 20 this year, 15 the next, which still gives them an opportunity. You can play. You can still get relegated because of that if you suck too much.
Yeah, if you suck hard enough, you will get relegated because of that.
But mostly because this is both. You know, this is a year where there's both the World Cup and obviously, as always, Six Nations that are going to, and obviously Champions Cup. Those are focuses that the Sarries top players are going to have to, you know, their academy grown players.
You're welcome.
Are going to have to skip.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and to the point, you know, and there's haters are going to hate, but those that are just like jumping on the shit wagon for against the Saracens. Remember, half of the a third of the team that was put into place this past weekend come from the Saracens, and I'm not talking about the guys that have signed with them. I'm talking about guys that have been grown in their academy for one way or another. You want to talk about those guys on top of it? Well, you can just put another big chunk on top of that. So you're talking about most of their forward pack that was starting this weekend.
Yep.
And you're talking about also a couple of solid bench players on there. And in my opinion, the guy that should have been on the plane to begin with, Ben Spencer. I think a lot of people would have a hard time arguing that. We'll get to the game in a minute, but it's just if you're gonna jump on the shit wagon, you know what? You might as well just throw half your England team in the bucket too, because this is where they're coming from. I hate to tell you, and also, English rugby fans, do you enjoy getting shat on by Champions Cup teams that aren't the Saracens?
Right.
Because the last 3 or 4 years, Saracens are the only one that have made the knockout round the last 3 or 4 years. I know there's been other teams that have made it in that time, but 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, Saracens are the only consistent team from English rugby that make it that far. And obviously they've raised the trophy 3 times, but it's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Sorry. Yeah. So pick one.
My understanding too is, and I still don't get all the details, but as I was the conversation I was starting with Jared before pre-pod was there are a lot of teams in the United States. So we come from a different background here in the U.S. With respect to salary caps and stuff like that, where they're just not free agent destinations. And that's because
Buffalo, New York.
Right. Buffalo, Oklahoma City. A lot of I know Travis Kelce, the tight end for Kansas City Chiefs, bitches all the time because there's really nowhere for him to make any big money endorsements. So he doesn't really get stuff off the field the way he would if he were in LA, or New York or Miami, like some of these other places where it's high profile. You see the NBA players flocking to Miami, LA, New York, these kind of teams because there's opportunities outside. That stuff doesn't go to their salary, towards that team's salary cap.
Right.
So if a team is helping players with business opportunities, to me that's not
I think they're
a salary cap consideration.
I think a lot of athletes that are over here would love an owner like Nigel Ray to be in be in their court, because you're talking about especially rugby players who don't make a lot of money right now. They really don't. Top rugby players are barely scratching the surface of what some of these guys, both in footy, European football, and also here in the NFL, NBA, MLB. Good God,
right?
So these guys are trying. Nigel Ray's trying to right now. Yes, he can't just pour in the cash and then bankrupt himself. I'm sure he would if he could, but he's not going to. But what he can do is be like, all right, let me help you set you up for life after rugby. So, he's got a hand in Wolfpack Lager. He has a hand in Tiki Tonga Coffee. And, he's basically just been like, here's a bit of money to start your company. Go do it and don't screw it up. Basically is what it's come down to. And I'm sure he's given them some advisors along the way to help him out. But still, like, he's helping these guys for life after rugby. You can't tell me that Chris Wiles isn't having a freaking ball with Wolfpack, and Ali Hargreaves are just having the time of their lives. Brad Barrett's about to probably walk away soon. He's going to have a company that he can, continue to work with, and, he has something to go to work for every day now instead of, and, that's the other end of it that I think people need to consider is when you walk away, and you and I have had this conversation actually on this pod about when you walk away, the mental tax that is on you when you're just like, what do I do? What do I do today? I'm supposed to be at training. I guess no, not doing that today. Hey, what am I supposed to do today? Anybody know? Somebody tell me. So, when you walk away from that space and you just don't have that thing to go to work for every day, and you can have a normal job, but at least he can be prepared to walk into something like this. Somebody like Brad Barrett, and there's other guys. Who was the guy that just Fraser just had to walk away, and he was set up with a job already. So and from what I understand, also is that none of these things counted in the salary cap. So what I want to know is what are the payments that the players were made to players that are being found. I want to know how much it's over. If we're over by, if we're over by 1%, get fucked. If we're over by 15%, okay, we have a problem.
Right.
I will admit that.
Seriously dirty stuff, then okay, let's
let's sort it out. But did it really take the Premiership 3 years to sort this out?
Yeah.
I know they only started officially investigating it in the spring, but this came up probably 2-3 years ago already. You can't tell me they didn't have people sniffing around already.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is, and I do feel like if this is something that was found over time, spread it out over time, because this obviously takes them out of contention for the relegation aside, it takes them out of contention for the championship and the Champions Cup next year. That's a pretty big punishment right there.
Right.
And if you want to do that 2 years in a row, I'm okay with that. That's why I said like the 21 year, 15 the next, because 15 you could still make Champions Cup for the following year. That's not a huge deal. I mean, you still could even with 20 possibly, who knows? But at least it's a fight. It's something, it's not pushing you towards relegation. That's the big thing. That's a little much for me. So I think hopefully this is one of those things where they mete out the huge punishment. Everybody goes, ooh, and then they say, yeah, okay, no, we'll walk it back a little bit.
Yeah,
because that was a little.
Maybe they were playing on Nigel Ray appealing, and this is kind of what they were going to.
Right,
be like,
they're like,
we'll slap him with this heavy one, and we'll probably get forced to walk it back a touch.
Yeah, like if it goes back to 20 points, then I think everybody's all right. We're happy.
As it is, just looking at it as if we were looking at it, how can Saracens survive if this is to stand? Well, I looked at the last 5 relegation totals all the way back to season 2014-2015. The highest point finish from a relegated team was 31. That was last year. That was Newcastle. The lowest that the Saracens have produced in terms of points in the last 5 years is 68. So, and that was 5 years ago. And they had a rough year that year. They barely squeaked into the Premiership semifinal. So, if you were to combine the two of those, they would barely squeak into relegation or squeak above relegation. Who would get relegated beats the shit out of me. I don't know. We're not quite there yet. But I think a real thumb in the eye to this is Saracens are still in Champions Cup this year. If knock on wood, if they won it, they would get a place.
Ha!
No matter what.
That's funny.
Either the 6th or the 7th finished team, whatever it would be, would get the boot.
Ha!
Because the winner of this and the winner of the Challenge Cup get a spot.
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
that would be a huge thumb in the eye. I don't know if that's something that's going to be possible because there's obviously going to be a lot of mental stuff that goes into all this. So who knows?
But here's the other thing that look at it from the other direction. You just have a bunch of guys coming back on a plane who are kind of depressed, right? That might be like, and so they're already upset about one thing, and now you're going to say, "Oh, by the way, we're fucking with your club too." What do you think their response is going to? I would assume that when they were on that plane, they're like, "Yeah, you know what? I need a rest. We'll take this season. We'll do what we can. We'll fill in here and there. It'll be," and it goes from that to, I'm playing every match, and I'm going to fucking take it to all these clubs.
Yeah,
like you're kind of changing the mindset there, in such a way that I think they're not going to get relegated. Let's put it that way.
No, these guys are gonna.
I'm not worried about relegation.
I've seen some helmet try and put up. I'm sorry. Can we just aside Rugby Pass stop posting so much sensational bullshit and so many headlines that are just full of absolute morons? Stop. Just stop. No more. Thank you. Anyway, I did see some idiot that said that because of their star-studded lineup, this is why they're going to get relegated. I was like, that's a little in the contradictory opinion, and that's fine. I guess you need somebody, but it's like, all right, you sound like an idiot. I'm sorry. You don't sound smart. You sound like a moron. Congratulations.
Yeah, no clickbait. Let's not be that.
Yeah, no. So I firmly believe in this club. I will myself as a ardent Saracen supporter for a little while now. You won't get me to take this badge off. I'm still going to be a Saracen supporter. If it comes out that we done John fucked up real good, okay, right. I'll eat it. I'll eat it. I'll take it on the chin.
Take the L. It's not the worst, but they got the players to they'll be all right. I'm not too worried about that. I think if there was any year to give them a rocket up their ass, this was it.
Right. So it's they're in a way they're a victim of their own success. Because of their success, this is what this got brought up. We'll see what happens. I think the boys will fight on. I mean, you can look at the team that they put out this weekend. We'll get to their game in a minute. That's still a pretty darn good team that they put out this weekend without a lot of bodies. So would it win Champions Cup? No. Well, would it make a playoff in Premiership? Probably. So it would certainly make sixth at the very least. So I think there's a lot to like there. So I think they're still a pretty strong club, and they'll find a way through this either way. But yeah, I'm still backing the boys in black, and you ain't gonna get me to shake away just because of this bullshit.
No.
Okay, so enough of that. Let's get into. There were games. There were big games this weekend. As a matter of fact, let's talk about the third place game real quick, because that was just a lot of fun. That's all that was.
That to me was kind of like a Barbarians match. If anything, it was. Let's just have some fun, play some rugby, have some beers, celebrate our accomplishments.
Agreed. Yeah,
and then maybe have a couple tears after the game.
Oh yeah,
but then a lot of beer.
Who chopped the onions, man?
Oh, too many people.
Yeah,
too many onions being chopped on that.
Stop with the onions.
Yeah, Steve Hansen couldn't really.
I know
that. You know what though? I had so much credit to give him for that. He stood up there, and there's so much emotion coming from the stands as soon as they ask, talk about your career. What do you think? And what the fuck do you say? And just, it's been a privilege, and then walk away perfed. Absolutely.
Yeah, he couldn't spit out more than that anyway
perfect.
if he tried,
that's right.
honestly.
That's all he could get out, but what he got out was perfect. So, well done to him. Kieran Reid.
Yeah, hats off to Cap.
Watching him take it all in was amazing, because he's like, I'm never seeing this again. This is it.
Yep.
And at least not in this shirt.
No, definitely not. He might experience something like this depending on if he continues on.
Right.
And go. I mean, if he wants to go to Europe, he'll be a sought after, piece for sure.
Right.
There was a lot, and obviously, on the other side, Alan Wynn. This could be. You may not see him in a Welsh shirt again.
Right.
So, and I wouldn't be surprised. I know he was asked the question, and he was not willing to really give a hard answer. And can't blame the guy. That's a tough answer to just throw out there.
It is.
Especially if you haven't really processed it in your own brain. But yeah, that was great on him. Ryan Crotty walks away with a good one. Sonny Bill walks away with a good one.
Ben Smith walks away being fucking having a hat trick stolen.
So
from
close to a hat trick.
Stolen.
Yeah.
Let it stand. Come on now. Doesn't matter. Let it stand.
Yeah. So that was good on Ben Smith's such a class act.
Yeah.
Good God. World needs more players like him. And guys like him, and then obviously, he didn't get to play in this game, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, Lee Halfpenny, this will be his last go around for sure. We'll see if Dan Bigger's able to come back. He might be that old warhorse that makes it on the next plane.
Next one.
We'll see. Ken Owens, I will be very shocked, although he's kind of that hard-headed idiot that might make the next team too. So we'll see. But yeah, there's a lot of names in this one.
Shout out to Josh Adams for 7 tries in the World Cup.
Leading try score.
Not well done, kid.
I don't know where really, because he was nothing until the Six Nations came around and they picked him.
Yeah.
And he played his ass off in the Six Nations. He was already playing pretty damn well for Worcester Warriors. Now he's moved back home across the pond there, or across the bridge, excuse me. Yeah, kid's great. You gotta love him. I certainly, I was backing him most of the tournament, saying you gotta pick this kid, you gotta play this kid. He had a stormer. I think this was the most Welsh tries, single World Cup.
Yes, it was.
He topped the magician Shane Williams. Dude was a wizard.
He was.
We'll say that. But
he was that guy was Colby like.
Yeah. To the game. Joe Moody with a with a planned move that worked out beautifully.
That was gorgeous.
I'm not sure he planned on running that far, but it worked.
No, I think they said that was planned for inside the 22, not at
that
the
far
10.
out.
Yeah,
It worked.
It worked.
Worked just the same. Dan Coles had to come off early. That sucked.
Yeah.
Liam Cole. I mean, good for Liam
I don't know if
Coleman
that
to get
was
a good run.
Was that I thought was that tactical or was that a?
He was bumming something. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was definitely an injury.
Okay.
So that was he came off. Aaron Smith came off fairly early. Brad Weber still made an impact. That kid, I'll tell you, there's a lot of scrum half talent in that friggin' New Zealand locker. No shock there, obviously, with TJ Paranara, but that's a lot of scrum half talent that go into that All Blacks team with Brad Weber as your third choice.
Right.
So
Brad Weber, he had a pretty amazing World Cup himself too,
yes.
even though in the little time he played.
Yes, he was definitely somebody that you were just like
part of the try of the tournament.
Magic. Yeah, very good stuff. Yeah, actually, there's another item we should probably talk about before we get to the Premiership. We'll do it afterwards. Yeah, that was just it was a great game for a third place game. Wales played a little more open, and
they did.
You and I said it. If they played this open against South Africa, they might be playing on Saturday and not Friday.
And speaking of which,
yeah, this was so, and we talked about it, like the selection, and he kind of got a little handcuffed. I think if he had the nuts to do it, he should. If he was a good coach, he should have had the nuts to make the change, and that was to make Ford the finisher and put Farrell at 10, because this type of game was going to call for that. If they could open it up, yes, Ford was obviously going to be a great option, but really, you probably needed to manage this game for the first 40 minutes at least, and then bring him on.
Yeah, they never even tried to open it up.
No.
And so here's my thing too, is that you have, if you bill yourself as, and we all know Eddie and his troubles with selections. So that aside, the one strength that Eddie Jones brings to the table, that one thing that nobody ever really questions, is his ability to get his players in the mindset that he wants to get them in. Right? He's that master manipulator, master. I don't know what the fuck you call it. Just that he gets, he fucks with their minds, but gets them where he needs them to be.
Mental ninja.
Where was that? Like, you saw Billy Vunipola throw away 2 balls on his own end.
Yeah, I have no idea what
like
the hell he
early
was
on
doing.
in the match, they're setting stuff up. You could see them. They ran a very familiar exit play with the 8 pick and the 12 coming on. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Tuolagi moved
good.
into the 12 channel to take that run, and instead of giving it to Tui, he's like throwing it back at Ford, and Ford's like, "What the fuck is this ball coming at me for? Because this isn't what we do.
This isn't what we planned. What the fuck?"
And and then he throws that pass to his brother that his brother luckily had the radar to catch.
That's that old brother ESP right there.
Right. But it still should have been. And then Curry made a couple of boneheaded decisions in attack with the ball. And it's just like, you guys they're not like with a structure. It's not as though it was completely crazy open play against New Zealand. They didn't just be like, let's throw the ball around. They didn't. They had there were structures in place. There was a plan, and there was no plan to play like that same way.
No.
What they did early was just give it here, take the ball, because I don't want to deal with this right now. England just were not ready for the moment.
No,
and
I think
that's you just beat the shit out of the All Blacks. Why don't you just say, you know what we did there, let's just do that again. As far as your discipline, your approach, your like, because that's how you beat New Zealand the way by being better than New Zealand at the way New Zealand beat South Africa in game 1.
Yeah.
So the transitive property of rugby
they sure tried that.
If you play that game, that'll beat South Africa. And they didn't even try. Even once they settled down, even once they calmed down, they never really tried to open it up.
I definitely found myself very baffled at the fact that they just couldn't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
All the credit in the universe to South Africa. They put pressure on. They kept putting their game was they had their game down to a science.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what they wanted to do. Game definitely took a dark turn almost immediately with Kyle Sinclair having to leave the game for the rest of the for the whole thing. Dan Cole's coming on, and when Dan Cole's can't do what he's usually good at, and the South Africans can do it better than him, it's going to be it's going to be a long day.
Yeah,
and they were out scrumming him, and it was just the works. So, credit to the Springboks, and I couldn't put my finger on what the hell pre-match what England just decided to just got into them, but whatever it was, it didn't do them any good.
The 2 tries by South Africa. Can we talk about how fucking gorgeous they were?
Oh, it was glorious.
I mean, you had what was it, Mapimpi and
Yep,
chasing each other, chasing that ball.
Yeah, who's getting it first?
Catch and pop. Like, just great job by Mapimpi to work his way towards space.
Beautiful hands from as well. Just, he caught it and almost got rid of it as soon as he touched it.
I think that was Daly back there.
Yeah.
There was nothing for him to do.
No.
Except watch Mapimpi run
that
past
try,
him.
yeah. That's about all he could do.
And then the turnover that they got the ball out to Colby. And unfortunately, it was a 1-on-3. But...
he decided, I got this.
But the 3 was Farrell, who's a very good defender in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, who was the other one? It was Marler was on the inside.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
And then I think it was Vunipola, Billy trailing. I think it was the 8.
Yeah.
It may have been. I may be misremembering. It could be Curry too.
Retired.
But
if Marler's on the field, it wasn't Mako.
Right. No. It was no. Oh yeah. No, I just couldn't remember if it was Billy or Curry.
Oh, okay.
At the time, who was back there, but like Farrell was in the right position, was in the exact right position, but Marler just wasn't fast enough to cover his inside.
Yeah.
And Colby saw that. He's like, I'm going to beat this. He didn't beat. Colby didn't beat Faz. Colby beat Marler. Because if Marler had moved himself over in the right position, there was no way for Farrell for Colby to escape Farrell. It wasn't going to happen. But because he had the inside there, and then whoever the flanker
left with an arm tackle.
Yeah, whoever was behind him was never
no,
in position.
Get back here, shit.
Yeah,
I am screwed. So yeah, that was it was a great game plan from South Africa. They executed it to an absolute T. They did not screw around with it at all. Mm-hmm. They had the guys play. If this turned into a kicking of the points battle, Pollard would do well, and he did. He missed the first one, and then after that, it didn't seem like he was going to miss again. He was pretty well locked in. The other turning point was probably, I think it was the penalty that Farrell missed that would have brought him within 3. And I thought they should have just said, you know what, they got us. I think they were down 3. Mm-hmm. They went for the tie, and I was like, take the game by the scruff of the neck.
At some point, this is the World Cup final. Like you're not going to win this by a score of 21-18 with all kids.
Not with these guys.
Like somebody's getting over for a try, and whoever is going to score that first try is going to control the game. And England just never decided to control the game.
No, it was a deserved victory for the South Africans. South Africans the Springboks get their 3rd World Cup, having beaten England in 2 of them. Mm-hmm. They also beat Jonah Lomu All Blacks in the other one. Pinar was actually at the game. We saw that. Mm-hmm. We saw him. So that was great.
Khaleesi's comments after the game were fantastic.
What an awesome thing for him
to
be the captain to win this cup.
And then to talk about what it means for South Africa too, right. and put them first, not him or the team. He put his country first, and that's amazing.
That's why he's captain.
That is why he's captain.
And we talked about how he deserved it on the field, but clearly Rassie Erasmus knew what he was doing off the field too. Mm-hmm. And so credit to Rassie Erasmus. This is a guy that came in, and South Africa were a little defeated after the last World Cup. Obviously, they lost to Japan. That hurt them pretty good.
They were adrift. They were a little bit. Mm-hmm. We see a couple teams that are like that out of this tournament. Ireland being one of them, Scotland being another, although that's kind of been known.
Yeah.
Just some teams that are kind of there, but kind of not.
Australia's probably one of them too.
Australia, yeah. And but that's what you can, if you get the right coach, that's the turnaround that can be made.
Yep, it was amazing stuff. South Africa win. The post match photographs were pretty darn hilarious. If you didn't have a look, go have a look. Lots of budgies getting thrown around.
Yeah.
What the hell's his name went into the locker room?
Andrew, was it Andrew? I don't remember.
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry. Yeah. Whatever. One of those. Jerks.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's who it was. Carson Wentz.
Yeah. So Prince Harry went into the locker room and did the classy thing, which was very nice. I thought that was a good move by him to go in there and congratulate them.
Well, he's their prince too.
Yeah. But that was amazing stuff, and I'm very happy to see. There's some guys on that team that I'm happy. Vincent Koch obviously ends up having himself a worldie of a year with 3 winners medals. And he's by all accounts a fantastic person on top of it. So good for him. I love to see it. South Africa can take home the World Cup, and they are going to be your defending champions going into France in 2023. USA for 2027.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
We might not be as good hosts as Japan, but we'd still be good hosts.
No, God.
Good hosts in a
let's talk
different
about
way.
that for a second. Japan, thank you so much for an amazing tournament. This was, without a doubt, the most popular tournament that has been hosted to date for many reasons, but a lot of it had to do with how much people enjoyed the tournament while they were there. And that's just the players, the fans too. They made it just great for everybody involved. So to the country of Japan, thank you so much for hosting a fantastic tournament. You can't say enough about it. It was such a great tournament. We were so thrilled and blessed to watch this tournament unfold, despite that it might not have gone the way that some of us wanted to in a lot of scenarios, but still a wonderful tournament, and you're going to be a hell of a show to beat in 2023.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing how France can try and do that.
France are excellent hosts.
They've had some goods and bads, so we'll find out.
When you think of hospitality, you think of France.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. God, I hope not. I hope so. And then the following night, the World Rugby Awards happened. Some Joe Tafete was on the short list for World.
Never going to win, but
never going to win. But hey, it was cool to see him on there. Whatever.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'm not downplaying. I'm not trying to downplay it. It's
you can't do it too much.
It's a tremendous accomplishment. It's just you're
was never happening.
Right. But it's great to get the recognition that because he had a fucking amazing year.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's still a fucking pain in the ass to stop.
Yeah,
he's not. That's not changing anytime soon. He's not that old. So good on you, Joe. Obviously, as fellow Americans, we support the hell out of you, and we look forward to seeing what else you can do going forward.
Hell yeah.
Men's Player of the Year, Peter Steph Dutour. Emily Scarrett won the women's. Team of the Year for the men's, I thought it was South Africa, which wasn't. Obviously, it's really hard to ignore the World Cup champions, but I thought Japan should have won that. I really did. And I understand the choice. I understand the choice because South Africa, again, are going through a lot of things in their own country, and to win this is such a huge thing for them, as it was in '95 when they won. But still, just for Japan to be in the knockout stage and to really just establish themselves as we should be a tier 1 team.
Yeah,
that to me spoke just a little bit more.
It should be results factored in with potential, and South Africa obviously always had potential to win the World Cup. Japan, nobody thought they had potential to be in the quarterfinal. No, not many. Really. So they did a lot, and they showed, like you said, they showed they belonged. That was a coming out party for Japan,
big time
rugby, and that's something that they needed as a rugby union. So it's a little hard done, but again, to be on the stage, they deserve to be on the
Yep. So it's hard to argue with South Africa. Coach of the Year, Erasmus. Young Player of the Year, Roman Intimac. The other nominee that was in that group was there were 2 others, Kokona Singa and Herschel Janchis. I thought Janchis or Intimac were both fine choices for that one. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Barnesy, Referee of the Year. Duh.
Yeah.
The award for
the third place match by taking away Ben Smith's third try.
award for character goes to the city of Kamaishi, which was obviously hit by hurricanes and not hurricanes, earthquakes and tsunamis, and and they hosted it. They were a big host this year for the World Cup, so that was cool to see. Try of the year goes to TJ Perenara's try against Namibia, not only for the play that led up to it, because there was a lot of really pretty stuff that led up to it, but his athleticism to finish that thing was amazing. So
and
well deserved,
right? And the behind the back offload from
Weber,
that
was absurd.
Yeah,
just absurd. So a lot of the stuff was nail on the head, pretty well. I certainly don't think you could argue for the women's Emily Scarrett. She's a wonderful player to watch, and she turns things on a dime when she steps on the field. So, I wouldn't argue against that.
Yeah, no, she's Emily Scarrett, far and away.
Yeah,
amazing rugby player.
Yeah, understatement of the day. Okay, to the Prem. Shit, I know we had more rugby. We'll try and get through these. Did you end up watching any of the Bristol Sale?
Yeah, there was the weather, you couldn't do anything with it. Great rugby other than that. It's just slippery pill,
slippery old ball,
slippery everything. It just kind of went to shit. It was they just couldn't quite finish. But again, at least it was entertaining.
Yeah, that was pretty entertaining for 16-10.
Yeah.
Beaumont had to play 8 for a little while. He actually looked pretty good back there.
Yeah,
Looked like he was at home. I know where your points from Harry Randall came from. The try assist on Owen Lloyd.
Yeah. Lloyd getting over again.
He maybe they just need to start him and see what happens.
I'm waiting for that. I think that's going to be. They're not going to give him the
2 for 2 now.
Like
so
yeah,
pretty good strike rate. Hard to beat it.
Right, but it's hard to. It's also kind of, it's hard to. Who are you going to sit? O'Connor or Piatow?
You could probably sit Morahan.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you could sit Morahan. You'd be good. Yeah, because he'll play wing.
Yeah,
he'll play wing. I thought the game for Sale got a little bit better when our old friend AJ stepped on the field. He seemed to be a little bit more enthusiastic about getting the ball moved in different directions, and Robert Dupria seemed to be a little bit stuck in the mud. And also, AJ's boot is much more accurate than Dupria's in terms of going at goal. Not to say that Dupria is a slouch, but AJ's a very good goal kicker.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Bristol down the Sale Sharks, who we thought was going to be quite the monster, right. 16-10. So good on the Bears.
That was a big win for the Bears.
Yeah, good, a big win for the Bears. The other Friday night game was very entertaining.
Yes, it was.
Northampton and Quins, mostly for the Northampton part.
Yeah, they were just a machine.
Yeah, this is a terrifying team. I am not looking forward to seeing what happens
and
here.
The Quins are no slouches either. They had so many opportunities that they just cocked up. Obviously some credit goes to the Northampton defense, but not a hell of a lot. There was a lot of unforced errors by the Quins. Inside inside the Saints 22. There was a line out deliberate overthrow that led to a turnover. What the fuck are you? You're right on their fucking goal line. Why are you deliberately overthrowing? Did you not watch what happened with the overthrow last week?
Yeah.
Overthrows
don't work well, I promise.
Right. Fucking what's his name? Artie Sevilla can tell you about overthrows.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Talk about scary. Kelly Naira get out of the way.
Yes.
Get the fuck out the way.
2 tries, a try assist over 100 meters, and only played 66 minutes.
Yeah, and he didn't even have that many carries either. That's a terrifying thought.
No, he was like the anti-O'Flaherty, which we'll get to later.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, that's not somebody I'm messing around with. Mikey Haywood got over, which was good after having a rough offseason or a rough year last year. Mm-hmm. So that was really good and heartening to see. Tamar Harrison comes back and with abandon and gets himself over. Rob Shaw got over. I thought he was going to get called back, but they let it go. So
he was awarded a try. I wouldn't say he got over.
Yeah,
he was awarded a try.
Yeah, it was quick thinking on his part.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Frosted tips.
Northampton take it home 40-22, and they had a bonus point at like 20-minute mark, didn't they? Something like that.
Yeah, something.
Oh, they had a bonus point.
First half, certainly.
Yeah, first half bonus point for sure. Look out for this Northampton machine. They are rolling.
36 minutes. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 36 minutes.
Whew. Yeah, and we talked about like their attacking formation with the forwards 1-3-1 with Ribbons on one side and Harrison on the other. I was like, that's terrifying.
Yeah,
And not to mention that one of those guys is going to be able to offload to Nairavoro.
Yes.
Did you watch any of the Wasp Bath?
Did I? No, I did not. I might have watched the first half.
Okay. Well, you probably saw the Will Rollins try.
Yeah. Rollins got over. Oh, no, I did watch.
What a line from that guy.
Yes.
Well
done. That was well done.
Lima Sopoaga looks funny without a beard. And I also didn't recognize that it was him until I saw the shirt and it said Ted and Sopoaga. I'm like, that's Sopoaga?
Yeah.
Grow the beard back, dude, please. You're more recognizable that way.
I did watch this because I was happy with the try scorers because Shieldsy got over.
Yes.
Rollins got over. And who else? 1 second. Mercer got over.
Yeah.
So it's like guys you wanted to see producing.
I mean, Mercer seems to be just a magnet to the try line lately.
Yeah.
No Marcus Watson because he was on a plane over to watch his brother, which was cool.
Nice.
So good on Wasp, that did happen. So awesome. I'm glad they made that happen. Dan Robson looked pretty good. Good to see Jimmy Gopperth back. I'll say that. He's had a rough, 12, 15 months. He had the knee, and then he picked up a shoulder injury in the Prem Cup or in the preseason. I think it was Prem Cup. Mm-hmm. Just, wasn't going well. But he seems to have shaken it off, and I think the Wasps will be better if he's in the lineup more often than not. So as long as they find spots. Tough day for Bath in terms of their scrum halves. They had to go with Ollie Fox.
Yeah,
because neither Cook nor Chudley were available.
Right.
So it was a tough day for them. But they
did all right, Fox. So
yeah, he didn't do bad. Hard to outperform Dan Robson though. So
yeah,
he kind of had to do as best he could. Priestland was pulling the strings as he does, but just the Wasps had just a little bit more. And they were really hungry for this match. They couldn't lose another one. They really couldn't. Wasps take care of business 30-22.
I will say though, that's the one thing I want to bring up, that the indignity of it all. Brad Shields scores his first Premiership try, and immediately gets replaced with Ashley Johnson.
Oh, what is he doing? Let me just say this: what the hell is he doing as the back row replacement? He is a hooker replacement at best. Die Young, get your finger out of your butt! Come on, dude.
I mean, they're once they'll have some other
God, I hope
soon,
so.
But they're not.
If that's their back row replacement, I would be terrified if I was a Wasp supporter. Good Lord in heaven! Did you get a chance to watch Leicester Gloucester?
I watched some of it.
Yeah, it wasn't a classic by any means.
Wasn't great.
We were pondering what Ed Slater did to get minus whatever.
Oh yeah, because he got
a yellow and
he got a yellow card and they couldn't play anymore. He did only play like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Rumor is that he may have broken his foot.
Oh.
Yeah, so he might be out for a little while, so keep that in mind.
Yikes.
Pelledri returns to the starting 15. Morgan, again, another guy that needs to grow the beard back. I didn't recognize him without a beard, although the red scrum cap helps.
It helps. Yeah, you kind of. I don't even notice. Yeah, I didn't even notice. I was like, the big guy with the scrum cap. Yeah, that's Morgan.
Yeah. Joe Simpson gets over again. When did this start happening? When did Joe Simpson start coming into tries? That's three in 3 matches. 3 in the last 2 games.
Being a Gloucester scrum half gets you scoring tries.
It pays off. Vaianu returned for Leicester, and he seemed to make an almost immediate impact. It was very clear that he was able to organize the back three for them a little bit better. But yeah, and Noel Reid has been serviceable.
Yeah, not terrible. Not great, not terrible.
Since he joined this club, so
yeah.
Lavanini got on the field for the first time in a Leicester shirt. Apparently doesn't speak a lick of English. I was like, oh, have fun. Because they barely speak English up there in Leicester, so good luck, kiddo. But yeah, so the final penalty I thought was a little bit meh. I thought,
oh no,
Tempest kind of screwed this up.
Yeah,
so Gloucester can definitely feel begrudged a little bit here. 16-13, Leicester win. Really in the end, you probably just needed to make sure that you weren't in that position if you're Gloucester, and just maybe not be this close. Cipriani getting replaced at halftime was a curious decision.
He's been playing like shit.
No, he hasn't been playing especially well, but
bad sips.
Yeah, very bad. But I mean, to run 12 trees, I know 12 trees can play 10, but he should be kind of your last option there, not your first.
Well,
that's just my thought.
Well, Cipriani's there first.
Yeah, well, next after that probably shouldn't be 12 trees either. So the Tigers win 16-13 over Gloucester, and they get their first win of the year. So no longer are there winless teams in the league.
And a good one to get a win over too. That's when
That's a tough one.
I can't imagine that they penciled that in as a W when they got the schedule.
Probably not. 16-13 in the other game, too.
Yeah.
Saracens and London Irish. This was not pretty for a little while.
No,
the rain definitely did not help.
And McCall did not like what he was seeing.
No. If he's showing as much as he showed in terms of emotion and frustration, he's very unhappy.
Yeah, I'm going to go hide in the back of the coach's box so that nobody can see how fucking angry I am. No, we all see it, Mark.
That's a rare thing from him. So, and really, the Saracens had to pull this one out of the fire. They got the Ben Earl try at 75 to make it 13-13, and then they got a last-minute penalty from that ended up being landed from Manu Vunipola,
who had missed 2 already.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling super confident when that thing got blown up, even though it was almost dead in center.
Right, we watched this together, and I think we both were like, "Go to the corner! What are you doing?"
You're like, "Oh boy."
Yeah. Jeez, because they had the yellow. So they had the yellow. And it's like, just go to the corner.
Allendale was off.
And they just made some odd decisions like that. Like, you have the yellow on a prop. Take the scrum?
Yeah, something like that.
You have Ben Earl back there. I would trust Ben Earl to outrace someone else.
A lot of the guys on this team, on the other team, for sure.
Right.
And then the ones that can catch him, he probably bowl over.
Right. And it seems like a pretty simple thing to do. But both times they went for they went for the line out, and they went for the... then they went for the kick at the end. So, hey, what the fuck do I know? They won.
It won, so they won. So what are you going to do? Show us your TTs. He got TT lumps until he falls over the try line for his first one for a long while, like 3 years, I think they said. I was like, damn. Props don't necessarily score that much, That's how it goes. But yeah, a little prop love for the try score. Tuasue from London Irish seemed to be causing a few problems here and there, so he was definitely a pain in the butt. Good to see somebody filling the 10 shirt that was named Stephen Myler and not somebody else.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching him play. I'd like to see more of Myler.
Same. No arguments out of me. Hunter Hill started this game. Asikwe went to bump to 6. I don't know if that was out of necessity or if that was just something that they were trying to screw with here. But yeah, it seemed to work out okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that bad, So Saracens do win 16-13 over the Irish. Irish are kind of wondering what the hell's going to happen after they won. So we'll see if they can find another way to win. Apparently, the guys that they've signed are on their way though. So
yeah,
and including some of the guys that probably could have been there already, but just haven't. Probably because they wanted a little time off from Super Rugby and all that stuff.
Just like what we're seeing, we actually didn't talk about it, but who is that from Rossing who hasn't shown up again?
Leone Nakarawa.
And although I did see that Fiji is incredibly difficult to manage, to get around right now, so people are saying that maybe it's just he wants to spend time. He hasn't had a chance really to spend time with his family because just to travel across the island takes like a day or so.
Oh.
So if he wants to see everybody and spend actual time with his family, he's going to take a little bit longer. So he might not just be walking out on them, although I kind of think they might have to deserve it.
I'm not gonna. I got no sympathy for top 14 clubs. Those owners, for the most part, are jerks.
All right, so checking that box. On to the next match.
And then Worcester and Exeter. This was
fantastic game of rugby.
Match. God, I feel like that Worcester had this one pulled from them just a bit.
Oh, they absolutely did.
They had
this was I did not like that Mills penalty that basically ended the game. Nick White was going for the ball. He pulls out, and what Mills did was not. I mean, for the amount of side entry that doesn't get called, that's not that I've seen so much more egregious in from the side than that. So if it was that was a bad call. If it was Nick White was giving himself up and it was a tackle or a hit off the ball, that's bullshit because Mills had committed to that ruck. And White still had his hands on the ball.
Right.
It wasn't until he saw it coming that he's like, "Oh, I'm giving myself up," and it's like, "No, too late, dude. You're getting hit."
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to be in that position, don't put yourself in that position.
Right.
So I did not like that. Like, and to end the game like that is bad. Like,
really painful way to end it.
Right. Although at the same time, so what was gorgeous to me is Worcester got Exeter out of their game.
Yeah, they did.
Exeter was the a lot of wide open rugby that Exeter was playing, which is a lot more than they normally do.
I mean, it was their typical phase stuff, but it wasn't the type of phases that they like to play.
Right. It wasn't crash ball. It was a lot more like the way that the Japanese played against Ireland. A lot of
Getting wider
through the centers.
Yep.
Every pass, every ball is coming through the centers rather than right off the 9 or the 10. That was excellent to see. And like even on the Worcester goal line or the Worcester try line, Exeter are going wide. They're not doing that pick and jam, like trying to force it over the line. They were going wide. They were trying to play rugby. There was a good 5-10 minute stretch of just phase after phase.
Yeah, they put 20 odd phases together at some point.
Yeah,
at least a couple times.
And it was wide open phases. It wasn't that.
I will say that's a little bit on the higher risk side. When you get to 20 odd phases and you've done dick, maybe reconsider.
They scored off of it.
They did eventually.
That was the go-ahead try.
They did, but man, that was like 28 phases. I was like, wow, you were ballsy to hang on to this thing. That
was like the what was it? Your like classic hockey fight of two brawlers just throwing haymakers at each other.
Throw, baby.
Because the Exeter are giving Worcester all they can handle, and Worcester are handling it. Like they're playing good defense against that. That was amazing. As much as amazing as the Exeter attack was in that sequence, the Worcester defense, I mean, it took a prop peeling it off of a tackle to score the try.
Just got lucky enough.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes that's all it takes.
You just had that little bit. And who was it who scored that one? Yeah, Harry Williams.
Yep.
Love Harry Williams.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and just the fucking stupid penalty by fucking Fadialofa. What the fuck are you thinking?
What are you doing?
You don't need to go into that
Pull your head out of your ass.
There's just too many stupid penalties. That to me, maybe that's why the referee was a little hard on Mills, because he's like, you guys
There's
are
a good
just
chance
being
of that.
Dicks in the ruck.
I won't argue with on that one. God, I can spit it out eventually, right?
Yeah. But great match of both teams. That was a lot of fun. That was a good palate cleanser to close out the weekend.
Yeah, that was a really, really good stuff. All right. Let's do some start set. Then we can get the heck out of here. We'll skip over the top scores of the week, although I will say there were a couple of repeat names, the likes of Priestland, Simpson, Ben Earl. Yep, definitely some repeat names. Will Stewart got back in there again. Stewart.
He is. Yeah, he's a good guy to have. I mean, he did well for me last year.
He's not expensive, especially in TR.
No, he's a great backup prop. I think I'm going to end up moving some guys around over this course of the season.
Yeah, JL Dupree gets his name in there in both formats as well. All right. Start sit for the last week before we go into Europe. You might see some of the World Cup bodies returning. I don't know about that, but I don't know how many. But
I wouldn't be surprised if Singleton starts for the series.
Yeah, he's pretty fresh. So yeah, there's the likes of that. Let's start with Seattle Wasp.
Hey, it's me. So this is pretty simple for start sit. The Wasps are last at the league in giving up points to wings. They're bad against the second row, flanker and hooker too. Sale are the best defensive team in the Premiership. So the way that works out is for Wasps, if you've got Rollins, he seems like he's back, and his competition is thinning with Gaskell's injury. So Rollins is going to be playing for a little bit. You should have him, I think, at this point now. And
he's still pretty cheap, isn't he?
I think he's still pretty cheap. I don't have him, but that might change this weekend.
Yeah, I got a little spare cash.
Yeah, and other than Rollins, though, I would sit every Wasp. I mean, unless your options are limited. If you have some of their outside backs, you play them, but just don't expect much.
Right,
especially if the waiver wire's thin.
Terrible play, or Watson if he's back.
Right, but if you've got options that are non-Wasps, go with those.
Yeah.
For Sale, the wings aren't doing well, even though the Wasps are bad at wings. So I won't recommend any starters, but if you got one of them, start them. Mm-hmm. Especially in the FRD format, you could be in for something. For TRM, I would not go out of my way to buy a Sale wing right now. Josh Beaumont is a pretty good option this week. We mentioned him earlier. You mentioned him earlier. I would also start Jean-Luc Dupree, John Ross, or Ben Curry if he's playing. Vandermeer, if you've got him, he's 189K. He's not terrible for the cost. He seems like he's the main guy this year.
Oh, Aka?
Yeah.
Yeah, hooker. Yeah, very
Yes.
good. Yeah, I think it'll be good. Bath
Oh,
Saints.
I'm sorry, I didn't do the sale.
What you got? Oh, sits.
Sits.
Yeah, sit.
Sorry, I just blew right by that. Wasps are giving up nothing to centers, wings, and fullbacks, so I'd park JVR, Sam James, and Redpath in every format. Pine, Daniel Dupria, and Hammersley.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Just double checking. So Bath and Saints. So for Bath, you have some guys that are just automatics. Like I gotta play them. Like Mercer and Rakanaguni are probably falling under that category. Whatever Bath prop starts, start them. They'll be worth it. Saints are not great against front rows. It's like one of the few areas that they're giving up a ton of points. So yeah, even like Christian Judge, go for it. Their hookers are actually probably not somebody you want to mess with though. Dunn, you can probably pine the Bath front row this week. Saints front row are actually not giving up a lot of points. If you can get away from Priestland in both formats, do it. Chudley's might be worth a start in TRM, but if you can get away from him,
is he going to be back
in draft? I think it was just a concussion. So
okay,
yeah, I could
nothing
be wrong
important.
about that. Yeah, Roberts is a big old tease. Sit him. Tom Homer, the back three are not getting a lot against Saints. So Tom Homer and the likes, and anybody not named Rockin' Naguni, you're going to sit him. And Charlie Ewell's pine the second rows for Bath. Saints, automatic starts. Nayarvaro, Hutchinson, Tamata Harrison's in that range right now for me. James Grayson, as long as he's the 10, probably in that range for me as well. So go ahead, feel good about that. Bath are surrendering a ton of points all over the park to fantasy teams. So Collins, Ribbons, Alex Waller, Henry Taylor, Franks, Owen Franks, not Ben. Tuala, Furbank. Yeah, if you got a Saints prop on your roster and they start, you might be worth starting them this week. Start the Saints front row. Start whatever hooker plays for the Saints. Fraser Dingwall, if he gets in the lineup, go ahead.
Gloucester versus Sarries. This is going to be a big game.
It'll be a tough old game.
As far as fantasy is concerned, the Sarries are at the bottom half of the league against centers and not all that great against wings. Here's an interesting note. The Saracens are the last in points against to fly halves in TRM, but they're fifth in FRD.
Yeah, they don't. It doesn't always translate.
Right. Well, because it's kicking. It's a lot of the kicking points that the other fly halves
that makes sense.
have to do. Where you get points in that for in TRM, you don't get points for kicks, for
kick meters.
Right.
Yep.
For territorial kicks in FRD. So that I think that's where the disconnect is. Gloucester are giving up points to wings and fullbacks and flankers, but not 8 men or second rows, which is interesting. So flankers, not 8 men. They give up points to fly halves, but Sarries don't really have any point-scoring fly half options right now.
No, so don't worry about it.
So for Gloucester, Atkinson and 12 Trees are pretty good options, and Thorley too, because Sarries aren't doing great against wings. For sits, Cipriani, sit him until he doesn't suck anymore.
Yeah, please.
Take the week, seriously, take the week where he's good again, and have him on your bench for that. It's one of these like wait till he shows you, and then throw him in there.
Right.
Also, Ludlow, Creel, and Ackerman and Morgan, because the Sarries are doing well against those loose forwards. That don't expect much out of them.
Yeah, it's tough to pine them, but it's going to be tough. It's really like
close
your eyes and hope.
Yeah,
type of stuff.
The Sarries keep starting Ben Earl until he doesn't deserve it anymore. So like the opposite of Cipriani. Wait till Ben Earl shows you that he's not that guy anymore, and he will have a match where he doesn't score points, but then he's going to go right back to scoring points again. So be prepared for that. If he gets 2 in a row that aren't any good, then maybe think about pining him. Gloucester give up some points to wings and fullbacks. So Maitland and Gallagher are pretty appetizing for this one. Lewington or Sagan only in FRD.
Yeah.
For the Sarries sits, Will Skelton and Jackson Ray. Gloucester are shutting down second rows and flankers, but not 8 men. Because Earl is kind of the dual flanker 8-man, and Ray is the same thing. but Earl is the attacking
He's
eight man.
getting the attacking option, so yeah.
So that's why I would go with the.
Those are important.
I would start Earl, sit Jackson, and Skelton, because I'm sure lots of you have him out there. I think this is a week to
get away from him.
Sit him down and start someone else.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see how Gloucester does without Ed Slater.
Yeah. Yeah, that could change things actually.
Yeah.
The Slater injury.
Yeah, keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Quins and Worcester. Therethere's no automatic starts in Quins right now, and it pains me to say that because I wish Don Brandt was, but he's not doing it. Start him in TRM if you want, but pine him in FRD. Opposite of that for Joe Marchant. But Worcester are surrendering some points, so you can find them in the back line mostly. Marcus Smith, Ibitoye, whichever scrum half plays, whether it's Landajo or Kerr. Mike Brown if he's back. So that's a good spot. Their props aren't scoring. The props against Worcester aren't scoring anything, so don't do that. The hookers are doing fine, though, so go ahead and play Scott Baldwin, assuming he's the one starting. You can start the Quins front row if you have him. Simmons and Robshaw in the back five there of the scrum. Go ahead and roll them out there as well. Worcester, automatic starts if they're in the lineup. Hugard, Ted Hill, don't even blink. Don't even hesitate. Do it. Pine Ryan Mills this week. Duncan Weir, got to play him. He's done it. Millen and Nine, I need to see it now. I had faith in him for a little while. I'm backing off on it. Start any of the Worcester props if you dare.
Yeah.
Pinnell's probably a Pine this week, although I know he just had a decent week.
Yeah.
Sam Lewis, I don't know if he's going to be healthy.
Yeah, he might not be healthy.
So, yeah. Niall Annette's bordering on an automatic start right now in terms of TRM, but you should start him this week especially. Bresler and Mama are both starts in TRM, but not in draft. And then Vadialofa is a Pine, and Pine the Worcester front row.
Oh, we come to for me, save the best for last. Easily going to be the most exciting game of the weekend. London Irish versus Leicester. Oh, I can't fucking wait for this one.
You're going to turn this game off so fast.
All right, Jared, just for next week, I didn't watch this match.
We'll pencil that right now.
London Irish versus Leicester. Both these teams are giving up a lot of points. They are 9-10 in points against overall in the Rugby Magazine, 10-11 in FRD. So, yeah, they give up a lot of points. How is that going to work?
Well, yeah, it's going to be a matter of which team gets a hold of it, I suppose.
Right. So Leicester specialize in giving up points to centers, scrum halves, and flankers. They were the worst in all three.
Whoa.
They're also bad against hookers, too. They do okay against fly halves and second rows. The Irish give up points to hookers and props, flankers, 8-men, centers, and wings. They shut down second rows and fly halves. That's weird that they really are they're matched up like
crazy,
that.
Right?
So for the Irish, Rona could have more of an impact this week, and Blair Cowan should be in for a big performance. For the Irish,
he'll do well.
I'm sorry?
He'll do well.
Yeah.
I like him.
For the Irish, sit Voldemort, he who shall not be named, and Botha.
Yes.
Because, again, the Leicester will shut down the second rows. For Leicester, Jonah Holmes, if you got him, yep. Leicester front row and FRD. They're a good option this week.
Nice.
And I'm sorry.
So nice.
And start Guy Thompson and Sione Kalamafoni. As far as sits for Leicester, Callum Green and Sam Harrison. Sit him down.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Sam's going to be starting 9. If it's not, sit the other 9.
I like Ben White better as a player.
And even if White's playing, sit him.
Yeah, just pine him for this case. And then, pardon me, the Sunday match, Exeter Bristol. This actually should be pretty good.
This should be fun.
So this few auto starts that are on Exeter for me right now. Yandel, Sam Simmons, Kovesic if he's playing. Johnny Hill has now managed himself into an auto start. Who the fuck knew?
Right.
In both formats, by the way.
He didn't even get over the line, and he had a good day.
Yeah, he still had a decent day. Joe Simmons is worth a start in draft, but probably not in TRM. Armand, if he's alive, is probably worth a start in both formats. Dave Dennis is a no either way. The scrum half is a no either way, whether it's Monder or White. Yeah, of course, Jack Monitor picks this week where I drop him to wake up. It's like, oh, now you pull a finger out of your ass? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Stuart Hogg, start him.
Stuart.
I know he's been a little bit disappointing. He's probably an expensive guy for you right now, but start him. The props, don't go near him right now. Bristol are actually doing a really good job against front rows. Vermeulen is worth a start. He's actually doing pretty well as long as he's playing. O'Flaherty, that's a no. Dave Ewers, you can start him if you have him. Get away from him if you can in TRM, but you might not have a choice in draft. And then Pine, the Chiefs front row. And then for Bristol, there's a couple auto starts here. I wish I could say it's Terry Thacker, but I can't right now. He's not performing. So, but Piatow is definitely an automatic go. I'll give the thumbs up to Hughes as well as an automatic. He should be somebody that you start no problem. Start the Bristol front row. O'Connor, or you can, the centers just don't touch them. Exeter are just clogging that middle, even though their centers aren't fantastic. They also aren't letting anything through. Either scrum half, nope. Sheedy, you might not have a choice in draft, but TRM, you can probably start him. And then Luatua, you're going to sit him. And Afoa, you can actually start. You probably paid a lot for him. So start him, and then Vui, go ahead. He's a not a bad price, and he'll produce pretty darn well for you. Yeah, Bristol are one of the tougher teams in fantasy in both formats right now. So makes for some tough calls for an Exeter team that do have some good options, just not the favorite ones.
Yeah, can we talk? So one thing I wanted to bring up, you mentioned O'Flaherty there.
Yeah.
So this past, I felt like his name was being called a lot this last week. I wanted to get back into this. He had 34 meters on 12 runs. He touched the ball 12 times and did jack shit every single time he got it. That was
not good average meters per touch on that one.
Right. So he's one who leaving a lot of opportunities out there, that guy.
Yeah, getting a lot of opportunity right now with guys gone, so and not doing a whole lot with it.
Kind of showing why he doesn't start.
Yeah, why he usually doesn't play.
They have better other options. Yeah.
All right, to the pick'em. Just Prem this week, man. It's weird.
That's weird. It's gonna be lonely.
Bring me back.
Yeah.
All right, so Sale and Wasps Friday night. Sale at the AJ Bell. This is not a friendly ground to walk into by any means whatsoever, especially on a Friday night where everybody's going to be half in the piss. Although especially if they're drinking, I sent you that picture of that send me. I want one of those if we go to England.
Yeah,
I'm going to be drinking out of those.
Pitcher.
That's basically what it was. Just got somebody was just drinking out of a pitcher. I was like, is this a thing over there? Because I want to be a part of it.
Why don't you go to there?
Back to the game. I am going to pick the black and yellow team.
Whoa.
Oh wait, sorry.
What are you doing?
I opened my face and said the wrong thing. Sharks.
Yeah.
Jeez, they're at home. I was just talking them up, and I go and do that.
Yeah, I'm going with the Sharks.
I must be ill. There's something wrong here. If my voice sounds funny, then I haven't been well the last couple of days. But I got off my ass for you all, so you're welcome. Bath and Northampton. Bath at home. Northampton are on a hot streak.
Yeah, I'm not picking against Northampton.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints until I see them lose, basically. Gloucester, Saracens at the King's home. This is not a place that the Saracens have as a happy hunting ground. So if I'm picking with my brain, I'm going to say the Cherry and Whites, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning in that direction, too. I'm going to go with Gloucester because it depends. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get the result of the appeal this week. It might take a little bit.
I think it's going to take a couple weeks.
Then I think the Sarries are still waiting for the reinforcements to arrive. The cavalry's coming. It's just not here yet.
It won't happen this week, unfortunately. It happened for Europe.
And I just don't think they're good enough right now because of how good Gloucester is right now.
Yeah.
If it was a lot of other teams, I would, outside of Northampton, maybe Exeter, I'd give them a shot. Mm-hmm. Even Bristol, I'd give them a shot against. I think Gloucester is too quality right now.
Yep.
And they're coming off of a loss to Leicester. That's not they're both.
That's
going to
sting.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's going to be two rockets up two teams' asses, and I think Gloucester's have the talent.
Yeah, Gloucester just has the talent. I'm not going against that back row. Quinns and Worcester at the Stoop. This is a tough one.
I think Worcester are going to feel a little hard done. And
Quins didn't put up a good showing.
The Quins did not put up a good
well,
show.
They played all right, but
they put up a very Worcester show.
Huh? Worcester put a great show.
No, I mean, but the Quins had the good showing. They just couldn't finish, like Worcester did last year.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a mirror image of each other.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I'm going to go with the home team.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's got me leaning to the Quins. So I guess that's what I'm going to roll with. Irish and Leicester.
Fuck you.
Where are you going with?
No.
Where are you going?
No.
None.
Both lose. It's a draw. I'm going for a draw.
Atomic bomb. No, don't do that.
No.
That's not nice.
Leicester is going to win this.
Okay. Yeah, I need to see it, the Irish, before I pick them again, because they won that first game, which was great.
But it was against
Wasps. But they've laid a complete. It's just been a huge duck since then. So
yeah,
I don't think I can pick them again. So yeah. And then Exeter, Bristol. This should be entertaining.
This
at the very
will
least.
be entertaining.
Yeah.
Right now, neutral site.
Yeah.
The Bears are the better team.
I would be hard pressed to argue against you.
But it's not a neutral site.
Right. It's at Sandy Park.
Sandy Park is.
That's their fortress.
Not the easiest place to go in and win.
No. Agreed. Yeah, I got to pick based on the fact that they got pushed up against the wall last match away from home and still found a way to pull it out of the fire. I have to go with the Chiefs.
I'm going to take Bristol.
You going to take the Bears?
I'm going to They still need to put, they put against a pretty signature performance in that first week.
Yeah.
It's kind of been
still waiting for the powder keg to erupt at this point.
Okay since then. I think that they need something, and last week was still, they won, but it was kind of a little bit more of a fight than I think it could have been.
Yeah, no, that could have been a slightly better match.
I think that I think they have the juice to take this one. So I'm gonna see. This is my kind of this will answer a lot of questions about the Bears this match.
Oh yes, absolutely. I can totally agree with that.
For now, I think I'm going to back them. I want to see them take this one.
I'm not saying I don't want them to, but what I'm saying is I don't know how they do it. That's the only thing. Okay. Well, there was a lot to intake there, but we actually did a much better job this time around. Thank you for bearing with us this time. And like we said, we tried to do better and not be as long-winded as we were last time. And it wasn't an hour and a half this time.
Based on all the feedback we get, fans love it when we're long-winded.
But yeah, so that was pretty good stuff this weekend. Obviously, World Cup final and all that stuff. But unfortunately, we don't have that to look forward to. Although next week's Europe. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun in its own right. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure that you find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. Check out your TRM, your Rugby Magazine upgrades. Make sure that you hook yourself up with a little bit of help from them. And until next week, we'll talk to you guys again.
Find us on the Twitterverse.
Yeah, make sure you find Ben and I on Twitter, especially when it comes to lineup questions. We are there for you. We're here to help.
Never let a question go unanswered. We have always given you an answer.
Yeah. Whether or not it was a good one is a different story.
Yeah, as good as you're going to get.
Yeah. All right, but until next time, guys, thanks a lot for listening. Have a good one.
Later.
Cheers.